Well, you never fully arrive. We're always going to be growing up, but it's pretty impressive where we're at today, I would say.
I mean, it's going to always evolve. So like Silicon Slopes in 3 years is going to be completely different than what it is today. So like it's amazing, but who knows what the future holds.
That's right. Always evolving, always growing, always improving.
Yeah.
That's Utah. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Josh, for that warm welcome and kicking us off here at Silicon Slopes Tech Summit. You know, here at Silicon Slopes, we have a vision for the future of our state. We have a big vision, and that vision hinges on our success with what you see here on the screen. Our vision for Utah is that all K through 12 students, all of our children and youth across Utah have the opportunity to learn computer science regardless of age, race, gender, ability, or socioeconomic background. The future of our companies depends on this. We can't succeed with the growth of our state, the growth of our companies, without making progress here. And just in the last few years, we've made tremendous progress. And it's because of the uniqueness of Utah that we've made that progress. It's our superpower. Utah is different than other states in the country because of how unified we are. We have tremendous collaboration happening across public, private, and education sectors. And it's really incredible to see it happening. I want to share 5 key milestones that we've accomplished in the last few years related to this mission and cause. The first is that we now have a shared definition for computer science in this state that all schools and districts understand. This helps ensure that we're actually teaching computer science in the right way. Number 2, we now have dedicated state funding to computer science. Last year, on the heels of this event, the legislature approved $3.15 million in funding, the first funding ever in Utah dedicated to computer science. Thank you. That money has already been put to good work, and we now have 42 of our 42 school districts with plans for how they're going to go execute on this vision. And that's where that money went. Number 3, we also now have state standards and metrics that we can now use to consistently track our progress over time as we continue to execute on this vision. Number 4, we also have a master plan, sponsored and blessed by our good governor, Governor Herbert, and the rest of the constituents committed to this cause. And that plan provides a roadmap, a clear roadmap for how we're going to get from where we are today to the vision fulfilled by December 31st, 2022. This master plan helps ensure that everything we do, all of our work is aligned in the same direction. And number 5, just a few months ago, we announced the formation and funding of the country's first field of interest fund dedicated to computer science education. A field of interest fund is a fund that anyone in the community can contribute to. And we already have $4 million committed and dedicated in this fund, and we're raising more. These private funds will wrap around the ongoing state funds and ensure that we can do things that aren't possible with the state funding. And this is yet another example of that public-private partnership in full effect that will help ensure our success. In the end, we're confident that we can bring this vision to life. We can make it our reality in Utah, but it requires all of us. We have to work together. So today at Silicon Slopes Tech Summit and over the next couple of days, you'll hear us talk about this a few times. If you're passionate about this, passionate about the future of our state and the education for our children, and what will ultimately become the pipeline of talent for all of our companies, we would ask you to pull out your mobile phones at some point during this event and make a donation to the Silicon Slopes Computer Science Education Fund. It's that simple, and together we can make a difference. Thank you. And with that, I'd like to welcome out a few key people involved in making this happen and bringing this to life. I'd like to welcome to the stage our state school superintendent, Sid Dickson, Speaker of the House, Brad Wilson, and President of the Senate, Stuart Adams, for a quick conversation. Thank you, guys.
Hey, thank you.
Good to see you, and thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Sid, you've been such an important figure in all of this. You sit at the head of our education system here in Utah and make such a difference every day in your job. I'd like you to start by just sharing with the audience what's happening today in our schools around computer science, and what do you want to see happen by the end of 2022?
Well, thank you for having me. I like to say we have pockets of promise all over the state when it comes to computer science. And I actually have that opportunity to get out and see it firsthand in all of our schools. We have it in places that are rural, remote, urban, suburban. But again, it's just in pockets. So you might go to North Star Elementary, a platinum STEM school in Iron County, and see web development and esports and coding. Or you might go to West High, where I think we have some West High kiddos here today, and a wonderful teacher, Nicole Reitz-Larson, where she's working with counselors to help them dispel myths about who should be taking computer science. The challenge is that it's not in every school, in every classroom, every day, and not every student has access to computer science.
And you've seen this firsthand, because I watch you on Instagram and social, and I've seen you just over the last year. You've traveled to, I think, almost
all of the
every district in the state. So you've seen this firsthand.
Right.
Yeah. And what do you want to see happen by 2022?
Every student, every school, demographics, geography should never matter. And really, I think our community needs to embrace the idea, the fundamental idea that computer science is a foundational literacy. As we move into this, we're in the era. I don't know why we keep saying moving into the 21st century. We're way into it. So really thinking about computer science in a different frame, that it's not just for a few kids, but it's for every kid, especially those who want a deeper interest. And it plays into every content area and should be part of our fabric of schools.
Agreed. Thank you. We have here Speaker Wilson, Speaker of the House, Brad Wilson, who's also a Davis County resident like me. We see each other at the gym at times.
You look better than I do.
I beg to differ. So would you, Brad, tell us just why are you here? Why is this issue important to you in the legislature?
Oh, well, thanks, Aaron. And I will answer that question, but I just want to tell you something that I don't know if you all appreciate, but the President and Superintendent Dixon and I speak at a lot of events like this. But not very many of them have prioritized taking and doing something for our children and our youth the way this industry has. And in fact, I can't think of any that are doing this in the way that you are leading out in a big way. And I think you should all be very proud of Aaron and your industry in general for taking a leadership role that is kind of unprecedented in our state, quite frankly. So,
well, thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So, well, you actually teed this up. Our kids go to the same schools. We have kids in the same school, and I have children that are trying to figure out the chart that they're, kind of the path they're charting in life. And one of my children, my son, this is the space he wants to go into. And I think all of our youth are trying to figure out, like, how is this new world that seems to be changing so rapidly going to work for me? And the industry that you're in and the space that you're in is captivating them. But quite frankly, the world is changing so fast that our state and our school systems, we need some help in trying to help figure out how to navigate that, and you've been really instrumental in making that happen.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Speaker Wilson. we'll come back to you in a second. President Adams, so president of the Senate here in Utah. Are you also a Davis County resident?
I am.
Davis County?
Yeah, I mean,
anyone else from Davis County? Davis County showed up well today.
So, yeah, it's great to be with you.
Yeah, tell us about why this issue is important to you, President.
Well, it's a big deal because we can't just be the leader in technology. We have to dominate it.
Yeah.
Technology touches everything in our lives. And in order to do that, it's really, really important that we have coding or computer science in every classroom, and everybody has the opportunity to do that. Right now we have, I think, 5,000 job openings in Utah, and I think that started $80,000. That's a big deal for individuals to be able to have that type of income, but it's also a great thing for the state.
Yeah.
And we need to continue to lead, and hopefully we will. And if we have the right education, all the kids will have an opportunity, and we'll have not only a great economy in Utah, but we'll have great families.
So the average salary of a non-tech job in Utah is what?
About 40,000. So
40,000.
They're double.
And so the average of a tech-centric job where computer science would come into play is double.
Yeah.
So success with this should help double the economy.
It would. And I have 15 and a half grandkids, and I think it'd be a lot better for them to make 80,000 than 40,000. I think the math is pretty clear.
I do too. So just sort of zooming out a little bit, Speaker Wilson, we were having a conversation a while ago where you were describing to me how Utah is changing, and really how this plays into all of that. Will you share a little bit more about that with the audience here?
Yeah, this actually was a conversation at the gym. But, well, we see some things that I think you all recognize probably better than most folks in this state. But, and this is kind of jargon, but I think we all know we're sort of on the cusp of what many are calling the fourth industrial revolution, where everything in our economy is starting to become upended. Everything. And the fundamental driver of all that is technology and how it's impacting every business. I'm in construction, and it's upending my business in a lot of ways. And so what we've got to do as a state with the schools and other policymakers is find ways that we can ensure that Utah is on the leading edge of being able to captivate and manage that for our students and our population. And the truth is, and I'm not pandering to this group, but we're really lucky in Utah to have this industry and quite frankly, this organization to help manage that. And there are a lot of states around the country that would really, really like to be in the place we're in. But the challenge for us, quite frankly, as policymakers is how do we together figure that out? And your efforts around this initiative is a big part of it.
Well, I would imagine, rewind 20, 30 years, a lot of your constituents were probably more in the industrial industry here in Utah, and now that's really been shifting, right?
Yeah, even the manufacturing sector, which is very vibrant here, but it's technology driven in many ways now.
Yeah.
And so we are really changing as a state, and it's tricky. Government, quite frankly, is not something that really moves very fast and adapts fast enough, and we've got to get better at it.
It's causing us to have to rethink everything, I think. President Adams, what are you seeing in the Senate and in your role related to the same thing?
Well, we have a great opportunity in Utah because we have a high birth rate, double the national average. That's a really good thing, but it causes us some problems because we're at the lowest per pupil spending in the classroom. But let me tell you kind of.
So high birth rate, but lowest spending.
Yeah, so let me explain that a minute. If you lived in New York City and you had one child at home and you made $200,000, your per household child income would be $200,000. You come to Utah and you have 4 kids at home. Let's see, you got to make $800,000 to be able to have the same $200,000 per child income. We're never going to lead the nation in per pupil spending, but we lead the nation because in education because technology is our friend. I've been in classrooms where I've seen blended learning. My favorite subject in school was recess. But when I walk into these classrooms right now, it looks like these kids are at recess. They've got their iPads. That there's actually a bright light in the teacher's eyes. The kids are just on fire learning, and they're doing things that are totally different than when I was in school. And technology is our friend, especially in Utah, where, we're going to struggle with per pupil spending, but we're not going to struggle with education outcomes if we use technology. And it's really important that we embrace it.
Yeah, so we need to use technology as the lever to really overcome some of those unique challenges that we face as a state to improve the quality of our education. Anything you want to say about that, Sid?
Right, I think it would be unusual to go into a classroom in Utah and not see use of technology. It's the effective use of it that we want to lean into. And now let's move forward to computer science. So we learned a lot from a huge initiative, a digital teaching and learning initiative, that we had to spend time and money up front on planning. With the money we received last year from the legislature for computer science, we were able to enact planning grants. So really thinking about what does that mean for our teachers? What does that mean in terms of a communication plan so that our parents understand the need for computer science? And then how do we provide confidence and competence amongst our teachers? So if they're not like Nicole Reitz-Larson, who is masterful at teaching computer science, and you're a dope like me who had an Apple IIe computer as a teacher, nobody laughed at that. Do you even know what that was? I was, back in the 80s as a teacher, I have this Apple IIe, and I was considered the high-tech teacher because we had some little program
that was
like
high-tech.
Frogger or something, and I was teaching kids to code. But that was, at the time, that's what we had. Well, look where we are now, and we have so many tech companies that are producing materials for teachers and for students. And so we have this great opportunity with the influx of focused spending on computer science to make sure that we support the teachers.
Agreed. I'm going to come back around for some final thoughts here, but I just want to take a moment on this note to highlight and recognize and really acknowledge the incredible teachers who are here, because I think we have some teachers here. And the teachers who are, let's have all the teachers stand up who are here. We'll pick you out in the audience. Thank you for the incredible work you're doing. You're the heroes. And we have a lot of students. Any students stand up? Look at all the students here today. Incredible. Thank you for what you're doing. The teachers are the ones really making a difference here, and we'll bring this vision to life. So final thoughts, anything, we'll just start with you, President, come down the line. Anything you'd want to share with this big tech audience here today?
Our future's never been brighter. We have a very low unemployment rate. Our economy's on fire. I was at an aerospace conference, and I saw every aerospace company is trying to build an air taxi. That's a drone that fits 2 people, lifts straight off the ground. It's pilotless. Goes 150 miles an hour. Our kids and grandkids are going to be flying air taxis or air cars. We've never had an opportunity like we have today, and it's exciting to live, and it's exciting to see this conference. So thank you for having me here.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Speaker.
Aaron, I just want to maybe share with you some thoughts about the role of this industry moving forward.
Please.
We already talked about the fact that the big industries and the organizations that were instrumental in creating the state and the prosperity that we have today may look a lot different in the future. But we also see this industry, its growth, its success, and I think it's really important that, and I know you embrace this, that all of you here recognize that you have a lot more influence on what's happening in this state than you may realize, and that there's a really important role that you can play helping lead the state into the next wave of change that's coming. And whether it's engaging like this in our education community or engaging policymakers, we're part-time lawmakers. We need your feedback. We need to know who you are. We need to understand your issues and concerns. And in your communities, you can make a really big difference. And I know that means a lot to you, but I would just encourage everyone to find their way to make a difference for our state.
Good counsel. Thank you. Sid, final words.
I'll take those comments to a micro level. Thank you so much for all you do to support our schools, and Aaron especially for your leadership and your vision and being willing to go to the mat around computer science and all things tech. But I would encourage you as well to, while you're thinking about how you contribute to the state, think about how you can contribute to your local school by spending some time there. And it doesn't matter where you're located. I was in Delta, Utah, and watched a power plant about an hour and a half away, Skyping with their reading buddies, and they were given 30 extra minutes of their lunchtime if they would engage with reading buddies a couple of times a week on little iPads. And what a wonderful way to use technology in a remote place, but for industry to connect with kids. So here we are in this tech space talking about computer science, and you can help build that capacity in schools by just helping give teachers confidence and some skills and support. So lean in on computer science with your local school as well. And thanks so much to the teachers and the kids who are our future. I just am so thrilled that we're here having this conversation.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's amazing.
Thank you so much. I mean, the fact that we have the Senate here, the House, education, we also have the support of our good governor and Lieutenant Governor Spencer Cox, who've been very involved in this. Complete alignment around making this happen. Let's set a date to be back on this stage in 2023, celebrating our success. Okay?
Progress
Sound good?
report, yeah.
And we have a big bill in the session, that's coming up right now. You just started the session this week. We're requesting $10.2 million in ongoing funding year over year to ensure we have all the resources we need to train our teachers, to ensure success, make sure we have all the resources we need. And so please write your legislator, get involved, and we can all make a difference. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.